Dulé Hill here on the Rich Eisen Show. Our radio audience just returned. We just showed a clip of PBS's The Expressway with Dulé Hill here on the Rich Eisen Show. New 4-part series. New episodes air Tuesday through May 14th on PBS, which we all get. And it's a pleasure seeing you here. So what did you find on going to places like, we just saw a clip from San Francisco, Appalachia is another place you went to, Texas, and the city of Chicago, just exploring the arts world in each place. What did you learn?
I learned that, like, we don't all need to be Dwayne Johnson or George Clooney or Angelina Jolie, someone with this huge footprint to make a difference. If we really tap into our individual expressions, that thing that's burning inside of us to let itself out, if we give it space, it really can make a profound difference on our world, on our community, on our neighbors, and even on ourselves. I mean, I went to Appalachia and met a luthier who is teaching recovering addicts how to make stringed instruments, and those aren't really things you would put together.
Yes.
I meet a blind painter down in Texas. I meet a deaf dancer here in Los Angeles. I meet incarcerated playwrights out there in Chicago. It was truly an inspiring journey for me that I think will be inspiring for the viewers as well. I got to tell you, Rich.
Yes, sir.
So this whole thing started because somebody who I know by the name of Chris Howard and his partner Josh Jacob came to me and my wife Jasmine Simon with the idea, and then eventually we connected with Danny Lee, who was the director of this piece, and that's how it all came together. But I said the name Chris Howard, and I thought that would have ring a bell in your ear, but maybe you don't have context.
Well, I mean, what's the context of...
Well, with you, I do know that you went to the University of Michigan.
Yes.
And I do know that Michigan recently, was there in the national championship.
Yes, won it all.
Yes, and I do know it's been a long time since they've won it before.
Yes, it's been a long time since they won it before.
Chris Howard is
that
Chris Howard
of the University of Michigan football program.
Yes, is that Chris Howard?
Who played with Charles Woodson and the rest of the group.
That's
and Tom Brady and
that's right.
That Chris
it's
Howard.
That Chris Howard.
Honestly, I'm like, my first thought was like, wait a minute, did I go to what class did I go with him?
You know?
Huh.
Yeah.
So, well, tell him go blue. Tell him I said hi.
That's right. This is his idea. Like, the nugget of it is his idea. That's how this whole thing started coming together.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? The original idea was, why do we dance? You know, and I'm a tap dancer, so he knew that I am passionate about that. And as we connected with Danny Lee, Danny had the idea of widening the lens to really tap into all forms of expression. And that's when we feel like we really struck gold at that point.
Interesting. Cool.
You see, there's points of connection.
I assume, did you and Chris talk about the 1989 NCAA men's basketball tournament final between Michigan and Seton Hall? Or you didn't talk about that sort of stuff?
Well, no. I mean, probably over the years, I've known Chris a long time, so probably over the years we have. I probably more would have talked to Pookie Wigginton, though, who is Leland Wigginton, who Pookie used to played for the Pirates.
When did you go to Seton Hall?
I went to Seton Hall in 93.
93, so it was a few years after that.
But that's why I went to Seton Hall, though, really, because my grandmother used to live right down the street on Ward Place. So growing up, I was younger, and they were going to the finals and this and that.
Sure.
And actually, the year before I went, Terry DeHare got to the Sweet 16 that year. And then when I came, it just didn't. Poof.
And thus you became an actor.
And I'm not saying anything wrong. It's not because of you, Adrian Griffin. It's not because of you. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. Terry DeHare. That's a name I have not heard in a minute.
Yeah.
How did you get into acting?
I've gotten to acting by going to dance school when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then at the age of 9, a show called The Tap Dance Kid came looking for kids who could sing and dance.
I remember that.
I auditioned, and the next thing I know, I understudied Savion Glover on Broadway, and then I did the lead role on the national tour.
No kidding.
And actually...
Was that Gregory Hines?
No, that was a Hidden Battle who actually recently passed away.
Pardon me for mixing that one up.
But. Yeah, I mean, both dynamic triple threats, and both were my heroes.
Sure.
And my inspirations for being an actor, singer, and dancer. But it's funny because then years later, I was at Seton Hall, and then Savion was doing a show and he needed one more dancer. So he reached out to me. And he said, "What you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm over here in Jersey, trying to get my degree." Right. He said, "Come through. I'm doing a show called Bring the Noise, Bring the Funk. I need one more dancer." And I auditioned.
And then you got it.
And then there I was, and doing Bring the Noise. And then at that point, though, it started to I need to really decide whether I want to pursue the arts or pursue my business finance degree. And I decided to pursue the arts. But I loved going to Seton Hall when I was there. Had a great time. Met a lot of wonderful friends. I said it before, but I got to give a shout out to Adrian Griffin. He was one of my classmates there during this time. He's obviously gone off and done quite well for himself.
Yeah, and so Dulé Hill here on the Rich Eisen Show. How did you wind up on the West Wing radar?
Well,
how did that happen?
After I left Noise Funk, I came to LA.
Yes.
Trying to create space for myself. I did do one movie named She's All That.
I've heard of that.
And then about a year or so went by and I didn't work and my money was getting really low. And I said to my friend Freddie Prinze Jr., I said, Freddie, if I don't get a job in these next few months, I'm either coming to live with you or I'm going back home to New Jersey. Thankfully, though, during that time, a casting director had remembered me from an audition a year before, and a role came up. He said, I know the perfect actor for this. He searched me out because I had just been dropped by my agent and was at a new agency. Mm-hmm. He searched me out and called me in. His name was Kevin Scott, and the role that he called me in for was Charlie Young on The West Wing. I read for Aaron Sorkin and Tommy Schlamme once, and then I got called back, and I read for Aaron Sorkin, Tommy Schlamme, and John Wells, and next thing I know, I was on this soundstage with Martin Sheen and Rob Lowe walking around. It was, I was like, this is insane. Because then a few months later, the show came out and it was a hit.
Oh yeah.
And then we were invited to DC. So next thing I know, I'm here seeing the President of the United States and Martin Sheen's right there and Rob Lowe and there goes Ted Kennedy. And it's like, this is just like 4 months ago, I was just about broke. And now here I am. Actually, that first season too, we actually filmed on Pennsylvania Avenue. We filmed a basket with Juwan Howard.
Because he was probably playing for the Wizards at the time.
He was playing for the Wizards at the time, and we wrote him into the show where he was a Secret Service man, and he was like,
I missed that episode.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
So it was so surreal for me just to be able to how quickly things can change. To soon, like almost having to go back home or moving with Freddie, to now being on Pennsylvania Avenue and playing basketball with Juwan Howard.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
And then
surreal.
Being on a set with Martin Sheen.
Exactly.
I mean, you were still, early enough in your career. I imagine, did you pick his brain about anything? Or what was it like with Martin Sheen on a set of the West Wing? Martin really taught
me how to honor the moment and honor the gift that you have, honor the experience that you have, to make sure that everyone is seen and that everyone matters, which really kind of resonates going back to the Expressway, because that still is something that rings true inside of me.
Yes.
Of we all have a gift, we all have purpose, and we all come together to make a difference. And Martin would not let anyone be disrespected on our set. He would not, even if we were out there filming in public, he made sure he spent time with everyone and really engaged with everyone who wanted to have a connection with him, because everyone and everything matters. And that really stayed with me throughout the course of my journey so far.
Dulé Hill here on the Rich Eisen Show, the Expressway you just mentioned, with you on PBS. Check it out every Tuesday, 4-part series. Ballers, who were some of the cameos that when you were on the set there? Any sports stars that you were with on that show?
Oh my gosh!
Pretty much. Well, you mentioned Dwayne Johnson, so I imagine
there were a whole bunch. But here's the thing: like my storyline, I didn't interact with a lot of those cats.
Yeah.
So that's you pulled that one out on me. I had to have done my research. The main thing I was focused on was Jasmine Simon, who played Julie Green. Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Julie Green, she ended up becoming my wife. So, and also my co-producer on this project. So, I mean, it's like...
that's
where my focus was.
You were the ultimate baller.
I was the ultimate baller, yes. I have won at the balling. Yes, I have.
He was laser focused.
You see what I'm saying?
He took the Expressway, everybody.
I took the Expressway, right? That's right. I said, I know what I'm trying to do.
Fantastic. The cameo happened to be 2 children, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Right now. Okay.
I'm going to give you one more connection.
Sure.
Because I was in the room waiting to come out here, and I saw that you got your master's from Northwestern.
Yes, sir.
My daughter, Kennedy Hill. Where does she go?
Northwestern.
Yep. She plays volleyball there.
Great, awesome.
That's
it's
right.
a great spot. It really is a great spot.
It's a magnificent school.
Yeah, for sure.
See? So we're staying connected, Rich. That's how we're doing it, man.
Okay, very good.
You see?
And are you surprised at how Suits got I don't even call it, what is a 3rd wind, a 4th wind, a 19th wind? I mean, did somebody basically call you up this past summer and say, you have no idea what the hell's going on right now?
I don't even know how I found out about it. I mean,
the residual check?
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I might have been sitting back, having a drink with Aaron Korsh or having a cigar with Aaron Korsh, who's the creator of the show.
Yes.
And he might have been the one telling me. He might have gotten the big residual check, being that
I hear you. I guess I should know that, Vern. That's the way the business goes. But does it surprise you? Like what?
It did surprise me. I mean, the Netflix effect was, it was phenomenal how that happened. I think it was just the right place in the right time, in the right project. But I had no idea that the show would find that wind like that again. It's really, it blew my mind away, and it just kept going and going and going and going. And the fan base has gotten that much bigger ever since last summer.
Right.
People come up to me all the time talking about Alex Williams, and really, I was on the last 3 seasons of the show.
Right. So, any thoughts about doing more because of the insane success of what we just saw?
I know they're doing a spinoff.
Right.
They're doing a spinoff, Suits LA, which they're doing the pilot right now. And I'm fairly confident probably will be coming to NBC this fall.
Right.
Why not? That's my thought. Not that I have anything to do with it, and not that I run the network or anything, but that's would be my thought. But I think that's the main thing that's going to happen right now, and then they'll go from there. I'm sure you probably will see the characters show up here and there throughout the seasons.
Will you be involved in this?
I mean, if Aaron writes it, Aaron, you going to write me a role?
Okay. Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
It's so rare. I mean, yeah, it is a Netflix. I don't know if it's a royal, family thing too. That might be just a whole group of people that are just tuning in to see. What Meghan Markle was. New viewers or something like that.
Who knows when lightning strikes in a bottle? Why it happens? I think more because it's a really well done procedural. It's very dynamic. The stakes are high. There's people really being really slick and really cool and really strong. Both men and women are very powerful and own themselves. And I think that is attractive to folks. And you don't need to necessarily watch every episode to know what's going on. So I think that it was just the right place and the right time. Netflix brought it onto their platform, and all these other streaming platforms are popping up, but really Netflix still has, I think, the lion's share of viewers.
I just maybe think it would be more popular if there was more innuendo on the program. You know what I'm saying?
I mean?
What I mean? Just there's. I don't know if there's enough.
There's not enough innuendo on Suits. Not enough.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I think Charles Barkley was on Suits though. He came through.
I must have missed that one too.
You see what I'm saying?
Were you on the set when he came through or no?
I was not. I wasn't even a part of the cast at that point.
Okay.
I was not. But I do know he came through.
Well,
everyone kept talking about it, even when I got there.
What do you get the most of when people see you?
I think I probably still get the most of Psych. Yeah, the Psych fan base is really huge and really wonderful. And I'm always, and a similar thing with streaming, I'm really impressed with how the fan base has grown. We left the air.
8 seasons?
We did 8 seasons, but we left the air in 2013 or 2014.
Yeah.
We did 3 movies since then. But you would think that a decade later, the show would kind of wane off, but the fan base is there, and I love it. I love how they're so passionate, and people who grew up watching the show now have their children watching the show, and they love the show. So it's multi-generational. It's a magnificent thing.
I don't know how many children are watching Suits, though.
You know what I mean? Or ballers. Or ballers. Yeah, no. Definitely not ballers.
Well, it's fun for the whole family to watch The Expressway with Dulé Hill on PBS. New episodes air Tuesday through May 14th, that 4-part series. It's a pleasure to have you on here, and come back anytime you want to promote anything you got going on.
Honored to be here. Appreciate that.
Right back at you. Everybody check out, again, The Expressway with Dulé Hill on Instagram at Dulé Hill to check out this man's social media. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.